Males are frequently linked to narcissistic personality disorder, which feeds into violent and irrational stereotypes. But the frequency of narcissistic women is a reality that has received less attention. In this video, we dispel the misconception that narcissism only affects one gender and highlight 10 crucial traits shared by female narcissists. 1. An obsession with outward look. Like their male counterparts, female narcissists are obsessed with looks in order to satiate an overwhelming need for approval from others. This goes beyond appearances. It also involves projecting an air of sophistication and prosperity through the use of ostentatious vehicles, lavish homes, and high-end apparel. Financial limitations are ignored since they might take on debt in order to appear luxurious. Though there are contradicting private messages, children are purposefully displayed to bolster the narcissist's reputation. This obsession is most noticeable in social situations where the narcissist dresses opulently to give the impression that they are wealthy. It's critical to see past the facade and not be swayed by outward appearances. Given the emphasis on riches, people ought to put real connections ahead of materialistic appeal by cultivating authenticity. 2. Extremely envious and competitive. Narcissistic women are fiercely competitive and want to be seen as the pinnacle of brains, charm, success, and beauty. This need for dominance frequently turns friendly rivalry into a ruthless atmosphere, particularly when another woman has qualities that challenge the narcissist's sense of personal superiority. In response to perceived threats, female narcissists use harsh strategies, humiliating and criticizing their opponents in order to weaken them. This fierce competitive nature also extends to the eradication of people who are viewed as dangers in social circles. Those who question the narcissist's apparent superiority are promptly banished, guaranteeing the narcissist's safety. 3. Being easily offended. Paradoxically, female narcissists who represent invincibility also show heightened sensitivity to criticism. Because they have a perfect worldview and reject imperfection, criticism is seen as an assault on their idealized self, which is greeted with scorn and rejection. This sensitivity is demonstrated in the workplace during performance reviews, when a female narcissist may defensively interpret helpful criticism as an assault on her identity. In order to reduce tensions and promote a more positive work atmosphere, handling such events diplomatically and placing an emphasis on cooperation over confrontation is necessary. 4. Making use of their sexuality for personal gain. Using their sexuality strategically to fulfill their needs is one of the characteristics that set female narcissists apart. When it comes to achieving their objectives, female narcissists use their physical attractiveness, unlike their male counterparts who could turn to manipulation or power struggles. This goes beyond simple beauty. They see money as a means to an end. Therefore, they are more likely to spend other people's money than their own. They may seek cosmetic surgery in order to conform to a preconceived notion of who they should be, and they may date wealthy people in order to sustain their alleged attractiveness. This deft use of sexuality becomes one of their most potent tools. 5. The martyr act as a means of authority. Narcissists who are female are adept at playing the martyr, presenting themselves as helpless victims or selfless heroes in order to win sympathy and respect. They are able to control emotions through this controlled role, which makes those around them more reliant on them. Their extreme sacrifices paint a picture of unjustified suffering, evoking compassion and elevating them to a position of admiration and empathy. These formerly altruistic actions become ammunition as the devaluation phase progresses, supporting an attitude of entitlement and ungratefulness. It's important to realize when a friend of a narcissist like this is manipulating you. To protect your emotional health and avoid emotional blackmail, set up boundaries that are unambiguous. Develop reciprocal interactions and steer clear of the dangers of maintaining a one-sided dynamic. 6. A passion for theater. Narcissistic women love to create dramatic scenarios in which they may effectively position themselves as the main players in a script that they have written. Their love of drama becomes a way for them to exert power and fend off boredom, rather than just a way to get attention. They are adept at setting up situations and enticing people into their created mayhem. To add even more drama, they may even use threats or unfounded allegations. They draw others into their lives based on how well they match the narcissist narrative by crafting complex tales. 7. A shameless contempt for limits. When it comes to stepping over emotional and physical boundaries, female narcissists are fearless. Their disrespect for the bounds of appropriate behavior is a symptom of their need for validation and attention. This is especially clear in their relationships with people of the other sex, where they take great pleasure in being the object of desire and frequently cheat emotionally or physically without feeling guilty. Their actions not only demonstrate their delusional feeling of entitlement, but also their skill at deceitfully taking advantage of social expectations. They may even break boundaries in friendships by making advances on their friends' partners, which can cause envy and sadness if their attempts don't result in the desired attention. If you find yourself in a position like this, put your emotional health first and think about asking friends or experts for help. Set firm limits and, if needed, reassess the partnership to make sure your emotional boundaries are upheld. 8. Manipulation by means of penalties. When it comes to manipulation, female narcissists employ a more subdued but no less potent tactic: penalties intended to reestablish perceived power disparities. Female narcissists frequently use the silent treatment, refusing to communicate in any way, whereas male narcissists may use fury and gaslighting. They create a void in communication and use it as a powerful tool to influence and manipulate people who are aching to get back in touch. Apologizing constantly for perceived wrongs, victims help the narcissist regain power. With deliberate use of silence, the female narcissist has control over the dynamics of the relationship and sets the terms for re-engagement. 9. Driving wedges between individuals. Female narcissists frequently drive wedges and cause rifts between people by taking advantage of their interpersonal connections. They may engage in rumor mongering, create complex narratives to sway views, and take advantage of affiliations to get access to resources or positions. They foster dissension by supplying false or degrading information about their victims in order to incite resentment, all while operating inside the triangulation framework. Victims experience a devaluation and abandonment as the idealization phase comes to an end, demonstrating the narcissist's skill at manipulating relationships for one's own benefit. It is important to deal with the problems head-on if you observe any indications of triangulation, which is the occurrence of conflicts without a clear reason. Open dialogue with all parties concerned will help to promote understanding and debunk the myth the narcissist is trying to sell you. 10. A sadistic joy in the suffering of others. The fact that female narcissists get sadistic pleasure from hurting other people's emotions is possibly one of their most pernicious characteristics. Their delight grows as they see the anguish of formerly self-assured victims. Their eagerness to idealize, devalue, and abandon people shows how cruel they find pleasure in doing so. Female narcissists take great pleasure in breaking friendships and relationships because they are incapable of developing healthy, emotionally meaningful connections. They also find humor in the suffering and uncertainty they cause in their wake. They are so determined to be in charge and dominate that they will stop at nothing to hurt people and manipulate their feelings. People can get vital insights into identifying and safeguarding themselves against deception by deciphering the subtleties of female narcissistic conduct. People who have strong boundaries and a solid foundation of self-validation can successfully manage interactions with female narcissists without falling victim to their harmful influence. When one maintains their sense of self-worth, the facade of the female narcissist becomes weaker and makes way for relationships that are healthier and more powerful.